that's going to be probably your next skill to develop. Is like
Yeah.
now you can see it's a waste of time, so now you're not doing it, and that's great. A lot of players like would just be like, "Oh, maybe if I try really hard, it'll work the
Right,
fifth
right, right.
time." But so at least you're recognizing it. But I think you need to be able to recognize it ahead of time.
It was just kind of annoying because I had one dude fucking Dinkelberging me. Like everything that I did, or anything that happened to him in the game, he blamed me for. So I was like,
Goldberg.
yeah. So I was like, okay,
That's
dude,
awesome.
whatever. Overall, it was a pretty normal game. Like definitely times I knew I could play better, but like I had a coherent like the game seemed coherent to me. The Leshrac game did not. Shit was happening, things were going on. I wasn't sure how I should handle it. I think I kind of got like laser focused on my game mid
Hmm.
instead of like considering okay, like sometimes I just get in the mindset of like, oh, I'm mid, so I have to win mid. You know what I mean? I have to outlane this dude.
Sure. Yeah.
Whereas it might have, I don't know if it might have been more advantageous to be like get in the side lanes as fast as possible.
Okay.
So that's something I kind of struggle evaluating sometimes.
So should you have laned longer or left? Lesh is pretty good in lane too. He usually harasses people out. But because you have Diabolic Edict, it's kind of just like Pugna. It's sort of the same thing where it's just I outdamage you in lane and then I kill your tower,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
So I think if you chose to stay in lane longer until the tower is dead, I think that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that.
yeah. I think what ends up happening is there's just like a lot of fucking dying in the side lanes,
Hmm.
and it's kind of like whenever my team's having a bad game, like, do I sacrifice my game to help them? Do I ensure my game?
Let's have a look.
It was a little extreme for this game. I think as you'll see.
Yeah, let's speed through it. See if we notice anything. You're winning on last hits right away. 10-3 to 9-0. It's good. One thing, it's not going to lose you the game, obviously. I'm noticing this a lot. You're leaving creeps at low health, so it takes you like 1 second to just deny this creep, and that really should be a priority for you.
Yeah.
So make sure you're cleaning it up when you're done with
For
it.
sure.
You know, especially if you're going to play mid, you got to like be on top of getting all these denies and everything. This one's harder,
Yeah.
obviously, but you could try for it.
For the twins.
For sure.
Like that one there, she left, so deny the creep, right?
Yeah.
I like how you're buying clarities and you're getting your boots fast. That's good.
A tithe to the impurities. The Radiant should really do something about that middle tower.
Ah, counter rotate. Okay.
The unthinkable has happened.
So I don't know if I would do this. So at the time that you're making this rotation, because this was your question, right? Like, should I be rotating more or
Yeah.
what? Right? Right about here, you should know she's missing.
Hmm.
Okay, and then let me see if I can get on your player camera and see what you're looking around the map at all. Which also at this point, I think wards should be in stock at this point. You see her TPing, right? You call the missing. Okay. Oh, so I can see your pings if I go to your player view. That's. And then you see her top, right?
Hmm.
Radiant's middle
So
tower is under attack.
first you looked. Okay, so now okay. So because they were like diving him under tower, I don't hate this.
Yeah.
Would I have done this differently if this were me?
Step to the depths, Slardar.
Oh great, Ricky's invisible now. Goddamn replay bugs. Jesus Christ.
Slardar's real stretched out.
No, I don't hate this rotation. It just puts you in an awkward spot. I mean, you did potentially save your Ricky. Don't get anything out of it. It's alright.
Radiant's courier has been slain. The gentle herald, we shall never hear.
I think the more natural thing here would be, because Ricky got forced out of lane anyway, he's probably gonna, if I was the Ricky player, I'd be thinking, okay, either I'm going back or I'm gonna like go get something in mid, right? So I think I would just stay here and take this lane.
See, the thing about that is, I feel like half the time stuff like that, like situations like this
An
happen,
easy target for
they'll
me.
just stick around no matter what in the lane. Like
Nope.
they're not gonna think about really regenning. They're just gonna stick around and like maybe die. So
Maybe that might be a slightly higher level thing, but I think this is kind of like
Yeah.
a game flow thing. Like, I mean, it's fine for him to just walk back here and you walk back here, but it would be more efficient for both of you. I know you're not playing the Ricky, but it
right,
would be more efficient for both of you. Like once Ricky's in this invisible Ricky's in this position, and you're over here, you just, I don't know, just take this lane,
Has been slain.
and then
Yeah.
look how close he is to mid. Like you guys are doing like a whole rotation to get back to your like standard lane practice, right?
yeah,
Which gives you the rune. I mean, this is fine. I think I would have just stayed there for at least like one more wave or something. Personally, that's what I would have done. I don't know if it's
Yeah.
super correct, but
Stay healthy, stay moving.
I think that's another thing too. So when you grabbed this bounty rune, right? Instead of pathing this way, path down here to check the rune on your way.
yeah. I think I didn't realize it was 6 minutes until I get there, and then you see me go for it. I think maybe I was thinking I was gonna get the kill on Slarder, which
Stay
was
healthy, stay moving.
Sure, but you could still do that from
You
over
know.
here, right?
yeah. No, absolutely.
It's similar to what we were talking about in the other replay review where you were Void Spirit right here. You were here, and I love we're CPing in, I was telling you, like, just go bottom. And
Yeah.
the way that you went bottom was like this. And I was like, I want you to just cut straight across and then go down,
Yeah.
right? Similar type of thing, like, cut across and then go back to lane. Like, I think when you're playing mid, I think you need to, like, feel like you're stronger and
Yeah,
Dire's bottom
exercise
tower
that
is under
more.
attack. Run, little bottom tower. Run.
gotcha.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack. Invisibility.
Runes again. Like there's there's an example of it. Of you kind of like taking the passive route as opposed to the more direct or aggressive route.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. This thing is super bugged. Now you're just like ethereal. What the fuck is this replay right now, dude? Okay. I think it has to do with the fog. Like maybe because you like went out of fog it did that. I think that's what's
I
going
guess.
on. Yeah. So this is an example, right? So you path
Yeah.
this way,
Invisibility.
I guess to get your courier, instead of just cutting straight across.
Yeah.
Very, very, very minor, but it's just an example, right?
No,
Are you-
for sure. I'm getting what you're saying.
Yeah. Did you get the ward up? I like that. It's good.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack. That's not good.
Risky. Yeah, and you gotta run now, because they have a Bloodseeker.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
So is anything going through your head at that point? After that just happened? Are you, like, reevaluating the game in any way?
It feels like a little bit difficult to lock her down.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's like it feels kind of like difficult to like I'm getting the lane, but I'm not getting much more out of it. You know, she shows back up,
That's not good.
can like spam her spells on me, and I have to like back up away from the tower. So it's
Yeah.
kind of a little bit hard to take the tower as much as I'd like to. Like I really wanted to. I don't know how this goes down if I take the tower here. Yeah. So this happened. I think. Yeah.
Even have arms
it feels a little shitty to try and do that, even though that's the thing that I kind of want to do.
Okay, so the way we can do this differently, I would say, because your Diabolic Edict has like a pretty decent range on it, right? So let me see. Like you can, instead of doing it like this, you could run in here. Gonna let me draw? You can run in here in the trees, and you can edict it from the trees, and then that lets you see if she's TPing in.
Okay.
Little Leshrac tip, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's just murking you, and she's done that twice now, right? So
Yeah.
What a brave tower.
And then, like, at this point, I started to notice, too, I'm sure I was getting, like, pinged or something by my teammates. Like, they've already got 14 kills in the side lane.
yeah, they're just kind of running over top. Bloodseeker has a free lane, and Willow apparently outtrades you in middle. So it's not great. Not great for you. But you've made 2 rotations. You are trying to pressure the tower. I think it might just be an execution thing. Might be the difference. So, like, 'cause I don't dislike the moves you've made. I personally don't. I like to think offensively almost all the time. So
Yeah.
whenever the enemy, and I'm not saying this is like correct, it's just the way I approach my decision making. If the enemy is forcing me to do something, it never feels good, right?
Right.
So like your 2 rotations so far have been to your safe lane tower. Once when they were diving under tower, and then once when they're kind of fighting in front of the tower. And if we look at it, like when do we decide to rotate? Just immediately, right? So you're coming up here to try and like clean up. But like they're gonna get this guy anyway.
Yeah.
It's fucking 4v1 now with you showing up. And in the meantime, like Willow's pushing this in and Bloodseeker's uncontested. So I feel like here I would just like, okay, you guys probably got it. 3v1, you're fine. I don't need to rotate here. I'll just go back to my lane and secure this, or I'll go bottom and mess with Bloodseeker. But given that there's a wave here, I would prioritize going middle first, right?
Yeah.
So I don't like this rotation as much. This one felt a little bit more like, okay, you got to help your team, right? But
Yeah.
like imagine if instead of your whole team fighting for this area, right? We were in Bloodseeker's face fighting him.
Yeah.
You know? And that's important with your hero, especially because you're a pusher hero. Like you want to be fighting near their towers and like trying to kill their towers. So like I think going mid is another argument for going mid over that one because this tower is almost dead. So if you can come mid and like force her out, maybe you can take this tower, and that's probably much more impactful than like a Slardar kill and a Witch Doctor kill.
Yeah.
I'd much rather have their mid dead and their mid tower than those two.
Right.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I don't hate it. I just think it's like it wasn't the best
Just what
option
I
available
was
to you.
Yeah.
I owe you. Dire's bottom tower is under
And this is just an awkward coordination thing, right? So you went top to help out, and then the Huskar
Dire's middle tower is under
just
attack.
walked to middle,
No arms to defend
and you don't have a TP now,
tower is under
and you're
Yeah.
walking to middle too. So I think here, you like, does it make any sense for you to walk here now that he's already here? I don't think so. I think instead what I would be doing, like it's 11:54 right now, I would just be being selfish. Like, I guess one way you could look at it is every time I do something for my team, then I'm allowed to do something for myself. So like
Yeah.
I kind of do this when I'm playing support. Like every time I go stack a camp, I'm like, oh, now I'm allowed to farm a camp because I stacked a camp. Like I
True.
earned my selfishness in a way, right?
Yeah.
But you're the mid anyway, you're supposed to be selfish. So like when you make this rotation, you get the kill, great. First off, farm this before you leave,
Yeah.
because this is the 2 supports farming this. So finish this off, and then go in here and stack these camps and farm right here. This is like the ideal Leshrac farming
Just what I
area,
was waiting
because you can
for.
farm multiple camps at once.
owe you. Dire's bottom
So I would just like, okay, do the rotation, get the kill, farm this, and then see what it looks like. Because instead, you're, back it up. All this happens. You're leaving this farm. I guess Ricky was here, so maybe he wanted that. Whatever. But you're kind of running past a shit ton of farm to go somewhere where someone's already farming.
Yeah.
And then,
Just what
I don't know, were you positioning for a gank there?
That's what I
yeah.
that was originally what I was going there for. Was hoping to jump on her.
Yeah.
But probably when I realized it wasn't gonna happen, I should have just walked back.
Right. But it's a ton of wasted time, if you see what I'm talking about, right?
No, I for sure.
By the way, Wyvern is effectively the only fucking setup on your team for this. So when she ults, you gotta get ready with, I guess you've already used it, but this would be a good opportunity to line up a good split earth on them.
Yeah.
Because they're stuck in place. So you can turn that, you know, whatever the hell, 4.5 second stun into a 6.5 second stun, like right here.
Right, yeah.
You can be patient and wait for the setup. Alright, okay, so now this has happened. What decision do we make now?
Radiant's top tower is under attack. Oh, that's not good. Radiant.
I think it's honestly just that you're getting pulled in by your team.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's really the issue, is you feel like you need to be fighting with them, and if the fights aren't good.
Yeah, that's the thing, is it's like, that's a lot of this rank, is it's like, and that was a big thing in the puck game too, where I think, the dude who was constantly mad at me was just, like, taking bad fights, and then, like, mad that I wasn't able to just, like, teleport and be there to save him or some shit
Yeah.
like that.
So
it's, like, a lot of pressure, a lot from your team to, like, show up and be there for bad fights, and sometimes it's hard to determine, like, when do I need to show up even though this is a bad fight, and when do I need them to just die for whatever mistakes they're making and do something more productive.
Okay, so the simple answer to that, when do I need to show up, is if your team is making a mistake where if it doesn't work out for them, you like lose the game, right?
Yeah.
So like they're taking a bad Roche fight and it's 50 minutes into the game. Like it doesn't matter if it's a good Roche fight, you need to show up, because if you don't have your strength there to help win the fight, like they will lose and then you'll lose the whole game, right? That would be an example. These fights are stupid. And also, like, most of the time, this is because I'm guessing it's the Huskar bitching at everyone, right?
Yeah, pretty sure.
Yeah.
Pretty sure it was.
I mean, look at this guy, right? Like, he's trying to be a big, strong Huskar, but he's level 6. What the hell happened? Support Venno, I'm guessing, is level 9. He's 3 levels behind because he's, like, trying to be a strong Huskar, but he's not strong. So, that needs to inform your decision-making, too. Like, okay, my team's bitching at me, but, like, who's bitching at me? Is it the person that seems like he knows what they're doing, or is it the idiot who just keeps feeding?
Right.
Yeah, so I guess just best advice I can give you in this one is if you're feeling pressure from your team to do stuff and it doesn't seem right to you, just fucking mute them. Because, like, instead of doing all of this, let's back it way up. Let's just stare at the mini-map for a minute, right? So we came in to defend the tier 1. That's how far back this decision was made, right? You kind of got locked into it. This is fine, but just watch the mini-map while this is happening, right? And look at how much your team isn't farming any of the mini-map. I'll just focus this on you while this is happening, but just watch the mini-map. Ricky is the only one farming.
Yeah, there's just waves dying top.
Right? You guys are just having like a big ass punch out in middle. Ricky's actually like trying to farm, but like you could be farming top, you could be farming bottom, you can be farming the whole freaking jungle right now. Like you're Leshrac, your hero farms really well. Everything, literally your entire kit is AoE. You are super good at farming waves and jungle camps and stacks and everything. And obviously, because you can't 1v1 this Willow ever, like, you're not strong enough to really be fighting yet, like this. And so it's kind of just a sunken cost fallacy at this point, where you keep trying to show up, and because you keep trying to show up, it's just getting worse and worse and worse.
Yeah.
Right? Again, Ricky's the only one off trying to farm. Right, still watching the mini-map. Okay, so it's kind of chilled out now. So if you keep making the same decisions.
Radiant structures are fortified.
Here, because they're showing, yeah, you can do this. This is great.
Yeah, I think this is the point where I started to figure out like we're at a point where there's not like a
Middle tower is
it's not in our favor any of these fights. Like even if we had a 5v5 straight up, it's gonna result in us.
Oh, absolutely not.
such a
I mean, you're
deficit
down,
in
you're down
network,
6K.
you know what I
Like
mean?
it's
yeah.
you guys are too
So I'm
weak
like
now.
at this point, we've got to take towers, split push, and split them up and try and get picks.
So I think the difference is going to be reaching that conclusion before you're in this position, right?
Yeah.
I think you got to be able to. That's going to be probably your next skill to develop. Is like now you can see it's a waste of time, so now you're not doing it, and that's great. A lot of players like would just be like, "Oh, maybe if I try really hard, it'll work the fifth time." But so at least you're recognizing it. But I think you need to be able to recognize it ahead of time and do that, right? And I think the easiest way to not make a bad decision is to just not make a decision. That sounds really stupid, right? But like if you didn't feel like these rotations and these team fights were good, then you need to be doing more of what Ricky's doing and just not showing up to them. Just go farm somewhere, right?
Yeah, and I think part of it is like I have like because for a long time I played position 3, and I think sometimes I have that mindset when I start rotating. It's like I go rotate somewhere, something whatever the result is, and then I'm like, okay, now I let somebody else have the farm.
Yeah.
Where it's like, no, I'm the position 2 at this point. I need to be greedy and taking the farm. If the position 1's not like literally on top of me.
Right, and I think mid is I think position 1 is the easiest role to figure out what they're supposed to be doing, right? It's it's literally just go make money, and then when you feel like you're strong enough, go show up to a fight or two. Mid is a little bit harder because you are supposed to sort of operate like an offlaner, as in you're supposed to be like exerting pressure without feeding.
Yeah.
3 doesn't care if he feeds as much. So it's a little bit more nebulous. It's harder to figure out. But you need to be like, I think you just need to be looking for like good matchups for you, right? So if, say, for example, it's like it's a Witch Doctor that's off split pushing. It's like, okay, I'm Leshrac. Am I scared of Witch Doctor? No. Okay, I go farm in his face and push him out, right?
Yeah.
But if it's the Willow who can clearly 1v1 me, then that's not a good matchup for me. I'll go somewhere else.
Yeah, and I think this game, like, I don't know, it might have been my item choices or something, but, it also was just the fact that they're up 6k on us. But it felt like between Willow, Bloodseeker, and Slarder, none of those I really want to take on head-to-head.
Well, and also at this point, I mean, you're down to level 12. This moron Huskar is out-leveling you. And then in net worth, you were the highest on your team, now Huskar is. And all 3 of their cores are ahead of you. So, yeah, I think your estimation of this game is pretty much correct. Like, your team just, I don't know, either lost the lane phase super hard or just took a bunch of dumb fights, and now the game's super hard.
Yeah.
But, like, your role in that is to figure out how to utilize that. If they're going to go do something dumb, then I'm going to go do something smart.
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
Because that's the only way you're going to get out of this rank. If you go, I think the best advice like I've ever heard, right, is if you go listen to someone, you're just their rank now. Like,
right, yeah.
You know, if the Huskar is Herald 5 and he makes a decision, like, he's Herald 5 for a reason, right?
Right.
His decisions are Herald 5 level decisions. Versus, like, if a Divine player is like, no, you should have done this, then that's like, you listen to him, you're going to be playing like a Divine, sort of, right?
Yeah. No, that makes sense.
So if you deserve to get out of Guardian, then you need to be okay with, like, making decisions that are not in line with your team because
Yeah.
you're supposed to know better, right? If you actually are better than a Guardian player, then you're supposed to know better. If you don't know better,
Yeah.
that's fine. Like that's okay too. There's nothing wrong with that. But then we just have to figure out like, well, what would have been better? In my
Right.
eyes, there's a lot of jungle camps never being farmed, and there's lanes that are just not being pushed ever, right? And you
Yeah.
can, I think, against their lineup, outside of like a Slardar Blink, they really don't have very good catch for you. I'd be much more scared of split pushing against your team because you have Ricky and Bounty Hunter, right? Which are
Yeah.
good like pick off heroes in the side lane. Like all it takes is like a Bounty Hunter and like one more hero, and then that whoever showed up solo is like sort of screwed, right?
Yeah. No,
Um,
for sure.
so your draft, and also at this point you've seen like, okay, we can't win team fights, right? So let's stop trying to win team fights, right? This would be something you would figure out maybe like hopefully in the draft you would figure this out. You would look at it and you'd be like, okay, so Bounty Hunter single target, Huskar single target, Ricky basically single target. Our only team fight is me as Leshrac and Wyvern. And they have Witch Doctor, who's got decent team fight spells. Got Bloodseeker with AoE silence. You've got Veno with AoE, big old poison, and you've got Dark Willow with like 2 big AoE spells, right?
Yeah.
So they have better team fight than you. So the way your team should be playing this, and this is where you can make a different decision, is you should be trying to split the map constantly. You don't want to team fight them. You're better in
Yeah.
1v1s. You're better in side lanes. Like you want to split this up. So don't show up to these team fights. Go somewhere else. Even if your team bitches at you, you fucking mute them. And
Yeah.
gain MMR, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I think I started to do that, and I do get like I get lucky maybe a couple times, and then Slaughter gets me. But yeah, I think that's definitely a thing where sometimes I feel like, because there's games where I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna do the correct thing, and then my team's like, look at this fucking moron not showing up to fights, AFK. So sometimes I feel like I gotta like strike a balance between appeasing them to try and not get them to like AFK, but maybe it's just it doesn't really matter. I just have to play what the smart move is.
I think you're right, because it's like it is matchmaking, right? And
Yeah.
you're not really supposed to be playing like a tier 1 team in a pub. So I think there's a level to which you can like appease your team and kind of go with them, but it's kind of only, I don't know. It's obviously this is the eternal question. Like how do I play ranked matchmaking and listen to, well, holy shit, we got out there. How do I balance between what I think we should be doing and what these 4 other people think we should be doing? It's never easy. But I mean, I suppose it would probably be better to just by default trust your gut and do what makes sense to you. And
well,
then,
yeah, and even like in this situation that just happened, like it wasn't the best thing, but me taking that tower and having Willow and Slardar showed up there let us get at least 1 kill. So maybe I should have just kept on forcing that, kind of forcing my team to play my game.
in a way, and you're also forcing the enemy team. Like which part are you referring to? Like did it just happen or?
Yeah, so I go up there, take the tower, get out luckily.
Yeah, this is good. Like I would say that is like pretty much perfect. Like you went top, you forced 2 heroes top, and then narrowly escaped. Like that's ideal. Now go do that bottom.
Yeah.
Right? Just play keep away. Hot potato. Fuck you. I'm not engaging with you guys. You're gonna follow me around the map, and then hopefully that gives space. That's making space, right?
Yeah. And in a game like this, it probably would have been like if I had farmed instead of wasting time in those other spaces, it might have been a good idea to get boots of travel.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. I think maybe if you wanted to, that's unfortunate, but at least you got the tower there. So that's a instance of staying. So I want to look at this death, even though it doesn't seem like a big deal, because this is the type of thing where you're doing the right thing and then pushing it just a little bit too far and getting punished for it.
Yeah.
So this death is worth evaluating, right? So based on the info we have, we see 2 heroes bottom. Okay. We see 4 heroes bottom. We don't see a Slardar. Uh-oh. So this would be an instance where you would need to, if you wanted to avoid this death, there's basically 2 things you do, right? Either you push the creeps up to the tower, and then you leave before Slardar gets here, or you evaluate what hero you haven't seen yet, which would be the Slardar, and then you would ask yourself, can Slardar 1v1 me? Right?
Yeah.
So if you go through that whole thought process and you're like, okay, no, I can 1v1 Slardar, and then he shows up and kills you, then okay, so then you just didn't evaluate it properly. If you're not sure which hero you haven't seen, or you don't know if he can 1v1 you, then the answer is you push this wave up, especially because it has a catapult, and then you just leave. So
Yeah.
it would have been, let's see, clear this wave, right?
Yeah.
And now we're walking to the right. We're walking over here now. I really wish I could
Yeah.
draw on the map, but we're doing this now.
Yeah.
That's how you avoid this. And then, you know, if he wants to avoid this creep wave and chase you to the ends of the earth to kill you, that's a little bit different. But it's not just dying right in front of the tower.
Right, right. Because now, well, I think I actually get this TP.
This is who you died to, bro. This is what you're dying to. Oh my goodness. It did not split earth work. That's great. So the way you can itemize differently here, then, if you really wanted to rush this Bloodstone, I can't tell you whether rushing Bloodstone is correct, by the way. I don't play mid Leshrac for, 8 patches. I have no fucking idea. Maybe it's correct. But one thing you can do is use the energy booster from Arcane Boots to finish your Bloodstone, and then get the bots with that, right?
True.
Because at that, let's say you didn't spend this 800 gold, you'd have 1600 right now.
Yeah.
You'd be very close to just finishing Boots of Travel.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that for the Bloodstone, but that's a fantastic idea.
Dude, that's like half the value of Voidstone. Look how many freaking items Energy Booster builds into.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. This is my favorite item in the game. I love Arcane Boots because it's just like, go into anything. It's so good, especially on support players. But anyway, always be thinking about that. Like, can I disassemble my items into something better?
Yeah.
That's not good.
So this is an example of doing this type of thing, right? This is all fine and dandy that you're doing this, but you are running away from a creep wave again.
Yeah.
So if you want to just practice this being more selfish, it's you kill this creep camp, or you kill the creep wave, then these camps, then you do this.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, you get back here in time, but you missed half the wave.
Right.
And then this, right? So running backwards, do the opposite, right?
Yeah.
Slardar's dead. You just killed him in this area. They are not going to want to show up here. Even though the Wyvern walked away, Bounty Hunter's still nearby. It would be super dumb of them to go show up in this area when you just showed 3 heroes here and killed Slardar, who is their highest net worth hero, by the way. If they're smart, they're not going to show up here, which means you're safe to stay here and pressure even more. Instead of doing the passive move and walking back to your side of the map, play on their side of the map and be greedy where you can. You guys lost this game, right?
Yeah,
Because
absolutely.
it looks like you're starting to you guys are starting to play it kind of the way you need to, and I can I'm just worried about how this game's going to end because I have a feeling it's going to be like super dumb.
It ends in tragedy.
Yeah. Okay, this is fine. This is great. Force a rotation. And we backed before we died. Cool. She's going to chase you to the ends of the earth. Great. She's not farming. This is perfect. Yeah, I like it. I mean, you didn't get the kill, but I like that. Okay, then we're running past farm again. Go farm this.
Yeah.
Go farm this.
Yeah.
All right, you see them all top, see you run bottom. Yep, good. I like it.
That's not gonna hold.
Yeah, so it took you 20 minutes, but then you got there, right?
Yeah.
So that's the main difference. You start playing like this earlier, you're gonna win more games.
Yeah, for sure.
And absolutely, going Boots of Travel would help you do this even better. Thanks for watching. I hope that was helpful. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. It helps me out a lot. If you're interested in getting coached by me, then leave a comment down below, message me in Discord, or message me on Twitch directly. I really want to get more students under my belt so I can help out the community and grow my channel. And I'm going to leave a link here to the playlist of my other Dota coaching videos, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye.